Thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to share with you the Prosperity and Abundance program that I've been created. It's really designed to get your brain thinking more abundantly and changing those belief systems that we actually have ingrained generation after generation after generation associated with our money blueprint.
Where I'm at the moment is a really exciting stage in my life. I've just relaunched a blog about 2 weeks ago, which is going to be my main focus. I just want precision focus on that. I've always had 3 or 4 businesses running, so I've just sold out of one and stopped the other. So this is it. I'm just focusing straight on the blog. You know, financially things are fine, but for me, you know, that things could start being definitely more abundant. I mean, I'm working from 5 a.m. in the morning and then till 7, and then the kids go to school, and then I work all day and then pick them up again and work a bit at night. So for the hours that I'm putting in, I could definitely be more abundant. I think with me, I like to feel like I'm in my flow. I like to feel like I'm working for a purpose. And what the Unstoppable program has sort of retrained me is to be out of lack and into a space where I can create again. So I'm loving that transition. But now it's just about expanding my mind to the next level, to be like, this is possible. You know, as a single mum with 3 kids, this is still really possible. You can do all this. You can do it on your own. You don't need, you know, to rely on anyone. No one else needs to dictate your life. You are in control and you can create absolutely the life that you want. And I think that's my next step, is just really getting that belief system happening, you know, subconsciously and without thinking about it, and just with a knowing. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
So in 2008, we nearly hit rock bottom. So basically, financially, we had a business that we had to walk away from because of the people we were involved with. So we had no money coming in. We didn't even have a job we could jump into, so there was no money at all. We just had a kid as well, so financial strain extra involved with that, and everything just went into disarray. We had a property out in the Vines, and the mortgage on that was $10,000 a month. Wow. And the mortgage rate was going through the roof at the time, and we had no money coming in. So basically we had to make quick inroads into there was no way you could sell it because property wasn't selling out there, and we were already about 150 grand owing on the house on what it was worth. And then the guy that appraised it said you'd be looking at a couple of, probably a year or 2 to sell. So we had to find something quick. So we ended up moving out and doing a lease to buy on it. So we moved into the cheapest house we could find around, which was like rock bottom. It was an absolute, to go from something in the Vines to where we went was like nearly a cardboard box type thing. So that was a big shock to the system, and then had to get jobs and just take whatever we could get. So it was a massive financial strain, and then I was looking for something with more money, so I went mining. And then on top of everything else, so all the financial pressures, the debts, absolutely everything all just came crumbling on top of us. We're about, at the time, about $1.2 million in debt, with no money coming in, no nothing. And then even with the mining, it still wasn't helping. We were barely keeping our head above water. And then in 2011, I got injured on a mine site as well. So you basically, you live on 80% of your income because the workers' comp only pays you 80%. You don't get your full pay. And I was sunk into depression. I went down a hole really bad, and that's when I first came to see you. So things were pretty tough. Now, my wife and I fought heaven and hell. Like, we didn't want to go bankrupt. There was some circumstance I won't go into, and there's a reason why we didn't go bankrupt, because it would have affected other people. So we worked our asses off to kind of skim the bottom of it and come back up, but we've never been able to get our head above water. We actually worked on our debt plan on Sunday night, and we're $525,000 in debt, and these are what you call unsecured debts, so it means we have no asset attached to that debt. I don't attract money how, like you were saying, you go to seminars or read a book, they talk about attracting money. That would be a big thing, because that would like you said, that would change your bank balance, and that would help me with sales and things like that. So it would flow on effect in everything. So just the attraction of money. Like I was, even last year, I read a book called Attraction of Money, or something like that. And I followed everything they said in that book, and I didn't feel any different. Like, I think it was about 6 months later, I still didn't feel any different. And I did something else that morning and night, you read this script. It takes about 10 minutes, morning and night. I did that for nearly 12 months. Nothing. Still nothing. This is what I mean. Like, they say, oh, you've got to believe it and stuff. I'm reading a book at the moment where they talk about you've got to believe it before you can achieve it. Well, that's all well and good, but when you've been up and down with money all the time, how do you believe that it's going to come?
Still working. I've sort of slowing down, or attempting to slow down now. We sold our house, which was our forever home, which we'd been there for 18 years, deciding to just have a lock and leave maybe, and it just not be tied to a garden and a pool and all that sort of stuff. So we actually bought an apartment off the plan about 2.5 years ago, and we moved into the apartment in February. So I've been actually doing direct selling now for over 18 years. So I started that 18.5 years ago, and I've been the top of the company for the last 15 or so consecutive years, many times top of the world. So it's something I've always just aspired and gone to the top of everything. I always do everything to absolute best of my ability. So of course the income with that was really good, and also the benefits that I received in terms of travel and personal development has been absolutely amazing. So I've really enjoyed that, although it has come at a bit of a cost, because when one has their own business and one happens to work at that level, it takes a lot of time. So I've probably always, for a long time, averaged a good 60, 70 hours a week. So I work long and I never stop, and I never not answer the phone, and I never, my life revolves around, to be blatantly honest, probably have revolved around work. And I don't know whether I actually focused on the money, but that was certainly the byproduct of it. But whether that was in the forefront of my mind, it was and it wasn't. So I think because I had passion and love of what I do, the money came. But in saying that, it's not always go, go, go. It's not always there. You've got to go out and find it. So you always had those moments where you weren't there and you had to think, oh my God, what's going to happen? I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And you worry and you lose sleep. So there's that constant cycle all the time. As I get older, I keep hearing and reading, and you don't need as much money as you get older, but that's still a ways off. 65 is the new 50s, so I still feel very young, and I'm very active and very energetic, and I still want to do it, but I also want to stop and smell the roses, and that's the hard part of being okay with doing that.
For work, I run my own business with my sister, and we supply various cafes, health food shops, predominantly IGAs and other little supermarkets, our vegan, gluten-free bliss balls. Come school holidays, being self-employed, you don't get your supers or your holiday pay, you still got to continue working, but the children at home, I don't have a lot of family support. So basically from the age of 12, my son has had to look after the two younger ones while we, rise and shine at 4 o'clock in the morning, get to the kitchen between 5 and 6 in the morning, and just do earlier so we can come earlier to them. That stresses me out. It actually eats me alive. We're down to one wage per family and just couldn't cope because we've got a mortgage on this house. And it just seems that we're going backwards. We ended up with this beautiful property, had to sell that, and we're still not making ends meet. At the moment, money, I just feel, honestly, like the financial stress outdoes any other stress that I'm actually dealing with. I know money doesn't provide you with happiness, but it will help you provide that sort of balance, which will bring happiness, if that makes sense. So if So it works hand in hand. And I'm not all about money. I'm not about greed or anything. I just need enough to be able to pay my mortgage, not to ring certain utilities or amenities, so I can't pay this bill this week, just to be a little bit ahead and just to help my family and to pay the mortgage, but it just doesn't seem to be working that way.
It's really designed to get your brain thinking more abundantly and changing those belief systems that we actually have ingrained generation after generation after generation associated with our money blueprint. Your money blueprint is actually inherited, and your brain actually goes up to about 7 generations of genetic memory. So if you think about the last seven generations, you're talking about 600 years. How tough was it 600 years ago? It's only been really good in the last 30 or 40 years, yet people are still struggling to survive. We've got to change the way this brain processes and thinks about money.
So I've just finished my second session of the Abundance Money Program, and I feel good. I mean, I've literally just walked out of my second session, so I always feel very open and light and like I've just had a gorgeous little afternoon nap. I'm not feeling a lot mentally different just yet, but I think as per the last time, I took a little while for it to kick in. So yeah, we'll see. It was really good.
Things are coming to me. Things are definitely coming to me. So I'm sort of moving along really well. I've really started to write down goals, and I've got my little affirmation book next to my bed now. So I just write little things and grateful. I think that's something that's sort of come to me, is to be grateful for what I've got and where I am and who I am.
The sales are slowly starting to creep up. I believe they'll keep creeping up slowly, considering we've got a tough economy out there. But I've noticed more so the mindset shift in that my husband brought in some bills last week, and I used to drop the F-bomb, and so did he. And last week he basically mentioned, "Oh, Tam, we've got some bloody bills," and he started going on a negative spiel about it. And I was going to join in, and I said a couple of words, and then something just stopped me. I says, "No, babe, we're going to get through this. It's a bill. Let's move forward. We're going to pay it, move forward, and we'll always have bills in life, but we'll always have money to pay for it, plus some." So something just stopped me in my tracks from continuing on the negative spiel. And he goes, "Oh, that's the brain wellness doing that." I says, "Must be, because it was all the time."
Every time you have a trigger or you have an emotional reaction, your brain creates a pattern to support that. Over a period of time, if you have that same pattern or that same trigger, your brain actually hardwires you to think and feel the way that you do. And most people live lives in a sabotaging way. We change the sabotaging brain, we work on the genetic brain, we work on the conditioned brain, and we actually make sure that brain changes its behaviour, so you live a life the way you're meant to live. It could take anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks for you to naturally start attracting after you finish your prosperity and abundance program, but everyone's different. You know, if you're in a situation where you're in sales and you've already got clients out there, all of a sudden you change your mindset and you can see immediate benefit the next day. So it doesn't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks. It just depends on how you go, but your mind needs time to attract all those wonderful things to you to support your emotional reality.
So I've just finished my 4th session, just come out of my 4th session, and I'm feeling really clear. It kind of takes everything out of your mind, so you can sort of start getting on with the day. And I'm slowly getting improvements. I'm feeling like I'm dealing with things, especially money issues, better than what I would have, with less emotion really and more clarity. Money was debited from my account for 2 loads of swimming lessons, and usually that would put me in a panic because I need everything to know exactly what's going on. But yeah, I think it came out, and I just kind of, I don't know, you just don't go into an emotional spin. You sort of go into it, okay, that's happened, let's move on. And I think that was just, one example of the week, which was good. I think it's just calmer. I think you just don't go into a panic, and you don't really notice it's happening after until you think, oh, what happened this week? And you think, oh, I dealt with that differently, and that happened, and I felt different about it. So yeah, I think it's a slow sort of improvement, a slow burn. But yeah, I would have panicked before, just because you know, people taking things out and then, you know, not knowing where everything else is coming from. But no, it was definitely a non-panicking moment. Yeah, work's good. Work's definitely coming in more consistently, and I'm feeling like there's more space to be creative now, whereas before I was very reactive to things that were going on and people would approach me and I'd just say yes or no. But over the past couple of weeks, I'm really starting to put things in place which I can target where I want to go and what I want to be doing, and I've never felt like I've had a lot of space for that. It's a lot of extra energy. So yeah, that's a positive, definite positive.
So the first day I noticed a big change. Second day was, first day was a big change. Second day was a bit of a change as well. And then I did second session. Didn't really notice much of a change in the second session and the third session, but it kind of compounded. And then my last session, I came out and didn't really notice anything at all. But then the next day, when you're filling out the diary, the proof's in that. And then here we are a week later, and I don't even think about money anymore. So I've had something happen this morning, which, as I was just saying, I just finished a session, and I would be stressed, I'd be worried, I'd be non-stop thinking about it. I'd take it into tomorrow, I'd take it into Sunday, so tomorrow's Saturday. Now I don't feel anything. There's no worry or stress. I'm like, it's kind of like, whatever. It's crazy, it really is. The only thing that happened was a couple of positive things. I was selling my car, and I had one guy lined up to buy it, and then on the day he was coming to pick it up, he walked away and said no. And I'm like, so that stressed me out a bit. And then that was on the Tuesday, and then on the Sunday, someone came and looked at the car, said it was great, came back. Oh, they rang me like an hour or two later and just came and paid cash and took it away. And for me, it was like, that just seemed too easy. Like, it was just unreal. Like, the way that all came about was just blew me away. That's probably the biggest thing. In regards to money and that, I think work's changed. My mindset around work, because I'm a salesman, so my mindset about money and work and things like that has changed quite a bit. Yeah. So I don't think about money anymore, but my feelings about money have changed. I'm not worried and stressed. There's no negativity about it. So I feel positive. I feel happier. I feel more of a can-do attitude. That was probably actually the biggest thing I noticed, was within a couple of sessions. I think maybe session 2 or 3, I noticed that when money came up, it was more of a, I can do it, yeah, I know. So when I'm looking to the future in relation to money, it was like, I can do it. Whereas beforehand, there was a lot of worry and stress and like, oh, can I? No, you can't. And you got this kind of self-talk going on in the back of your head. So that was a big change. I have a very good relationship with my wife, so I think if anything, when I'm talking to her or my daughter, I'm not thinking about money in the back of my head or worrying about something that happened at work or something like that. Like on Wednesday, I had a day I went out no sales, and that's not always a good thing, but I went home and it didn't even bother me. There was no thought pattern, like no stress, no worry. I didn't take that into the next day as well. So that I think is a big thing as well. I feel a bit closer to my daughter a bit. I suppose she probably would pick up on it. She's very like me, can pick up on feelings. So if I'm like that, she may not want to come back around me, but yeah, she's been definitely different. So yeah, it's obviously changed the family life as well. So
I've completed the program, and I had my last session last week. Actually really good. It's quite remarkable. I've always been a fairly positive person because of the previous program that I was on, but I must say this has been quite exceptional. It's really made me think about what's important in life, happiness, love, and that's what I'm finding, and then it's all happening. So in terms of abundance though, in terms of finance, it is really, really made a difference. I'm finding that work's coming to me. I mean, you still do the work, but it's definitely coming to me. I'm not worried about, what am I going to do now? Because the type of work that I'm in, you've got to create your own work. It's happening. I had some really personal best outcomes with different things that I've done, and I just think being positive and just having that whole creative outlook is really coming to fruition. I really have I guess, accepted happily, because it's what I want, that where I'm at going into semi-retirement is what I want, and it's working. It really is working, because in terms of work and finance and security, financial security, it's just ticking along exactly how I wanted it. So, I mean, it's been a few months now, and I can definitely find that consistency.
Businesses, in terms of monetary per week, we monitor ourselves per week. So in terms of just me as a person, I've actually initiated good. Like, I've brought in more business because I'm the salesperson on the road. So I poach new businesses, and my strike rate has been 50% or plus. They pretty much come on board. I'll follow up with them later, but this is the highest it's been. And considering the economy being so vicious out there in the food industry, I think we're doing pretty okay considering. We also, I think it was soon after the program, got an email from the brand new West Coast Eagles centre. I think they spent $60 million making it their home club, the West Coast Eagles. So now we're supporting the West Coast Eagles with our product. So and that was a big thing for us, because West Coast Eagles, well, everyone knows the West Coast Eagles, and they chose our product over 30 plus products. So that's a big thing for us. So we're doing all their corporate events, functions, supporting their cafe there. I believe they'll be taking our product to training and Optus Stadium and stuff. So it was the actual chairman and the director of West Coast who chose our product. So that was another big thing. So it's coming slowly. All the positive is coming like in dribs and trabs, but we're doing quite good. Like, considering our accountant has actually substantiated that, considering that a lot of businesses have spiked, then flatlined, gone down and hit rock bottom. He says, considering that you only do the products that you do and not deviated into anything else new, you guys are doing quite well. So that's another good thing. So I believe it is working. Every time my husband says something, I quickly make sure it will be okay. There will be money, not possibly, or using the other words that I used to use. So everything's going quite good.
So we moved house 3 weeks ago today, which was great. It hasn't been really, stressful at all. I think it's been a really good move. I've never really worried too much about moving house, but a lot of things changed here. We have, our partner's moved in, so that's been a big change with the kids. But other than that, no, the move's been really good. We're really happy, and I mean, look, this is just brilliant looking at this every day. I can't say too much about some business projects I have coming up, but I've just signed on to be an ambassador for the City to Surf, which is huge. So that's not only charity, but fitness, children with disabilities. So that's really, really exciting to be asked to be involved in that. The website Rainella we doubled our traffic in the last month. So we're just hoping to keep that going. And I had a pretty big business idea that I can't talk about just yet, because if this comes off, it'll be about 6 months in the making. But, mark this in 6 months. I'm sure you know exactly what it will all be about. The finance situation with the move is probably just exactly the same. So it's neither here nor there. But yeah, look, I think also the biggest thing with me is I'm not so much focused on finance and money anymore. I'm really focused on just living day to day and getting things done, and the move and the business, and I just have this knowing that everything else is coming and is just taking care of itself, which is a really nice place to be, where I know where the finances are at, but it's not just that main focal point of far out what's going on. It's just I feel like it's in a flow. I definitely think that fear around what's coming up, what have I got coming up, oh my God, is there going to be enough, am I going to be able to do this, am I going to be able to, school holidays, am I going to have enough to be able to take the kids on a holiday? I definitely feel like that's subsided, and it's just more around, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We've got this far. We'll be fine. Anything more than what we've got is always going to be a bonus. But yeah, being very content with where we're at and not always in fearful of that that you're not going to have enough, is definitely a mindset that's sort of slightly changed. I'll definitely be coming in every couple of months for a top up, for a little maintenance program. But I listen to the cassettes, the audio. I listen to the audio at night, so I know I'm getting enough through those. But definitely, I think it's part of my life, and I believe in all that stuff. The brain, we have control over it, but there's so much that we don't have control over and that we don't know. And if there's something that can get in there and reset, neuropaths and change the way that we think and view the world, it's just it's a gift. So I definitely love the Brain Wellness Spa.
Life is good. It's quite interesting. I honestly, when you look back at my diary and my notes, I would not have believed the changes, because obviously it's so subtle along the way that you don't really notice it. But then I looked at my diary when I started writing it, and I'm like, wow, what a change. And see, the big change for me is I don't think about money in the negative way or in the past. I don't drag stuff that's happened in the past forward. I'm actually, when I think about money, I'm thinking about the future. So it's all positive stuff. And a good challenge, I suppose, parameter is I started a new job around the same time as another guy I work with. And I just seem to be kicking goals and just doing really, really well, and just positive all the time around everything. And he just seems to be complaining and carrying on that the world is falling apart. Woe is me. But I'm finding that it's just really positive on my side of stuff, and it's just in here. So it's all headspace, which is just great. That's the biggest change that I noticed. The money coming in's a lot better, even to the fact that we've been paying off some debts that we've had for a while. We've had some of these debts. We actually paid off one the other day that we've had since 2007. So yeah, long time, and just making little payments. We actually had enough money to actually pay it off, completely get rid of it. So that was weight lifted off like crazy. I nearly cried, like it was so emotional. I've been dragging this around for that's probably about 10, 11 years. And to get that, that's just one, and we've got another one, and then even with tax time coming and the money that we're getting back with tax and that, I reckon we'll be able to get rid of another one as well. So all positive financial stuff as well. So yeah, huge. Everything's just been working really well and aligning. And the only thing I can put it down to would be the program, because things don't normally do this for me. In the past, things have never fallen in place like this. So yeah, this new car's come around at a good time, and it's worked out really well. I wanted something I can salary sacrifice that's only going to cost me probably maybe 30, 40 bucks a week. So it works out really, really well. It's a cheaper way of doing a car. And with Kel's and I's goals to get out of debt and pay debt off, I didn't want a big expense, so I didn't want to go get a flash car. I just need something that I can drive around in, and this is a really nice car. It's going to be fuel economical, and it's going to work well for me for work, so yeah, good. Yeah, so after the 4th session, didn't really notice much change at all, and I was like, oh, I did at work. But I spoke to Brain Wellness Spa, and they said, oh, you got to give it some time. It can take about a month, but then all of a sudden, I did notice the brain changes, and I did notice the mindset around money and finances and stuff like that started to kind of really mellow out. And then, so I've kind of gone from really, really down to mellow, and then it's kind of gone into the positive. So it's really up there. And I was thinking about this morning, I was just like, wow, the changes are just amazing. Just thinking positive towards financial in the future. So really, really happy. I suppose when you're not worrying about money and that, you're not as stressed about it all the time and stuff. So it's not a big thing. I know that when you have a bad day at work, or money's not there, or your bank account's nearly at zero and that, you're kind of worrying, and it's putting a lot of pressure on you, and you take that out on the people around you, so your family, especially when you come home and stuff. Whereas I don't notice that I even bother about that anymore. There's still a little bit there, but nowhere near what it used to be. And I think from what I've felt, I just feel that that'll disappear over time as well. So yeah, really, really happy with that.
The great thing about the Prosperity and Abundance program, you don't actually have to do the Emotional Empowerment program. It's 4 sessions. You can just come in and book straight in. It's 1 hour each session, and you can be changing the way you think and feel about your mindset, with your mindset about prosperity and abundance.
I've loved the program. I'm excited about trying these and introducing my family to different ways of thinking and what the Brain Wellness Bar has to offer. It's really exciting. I'm loving it.